First of all, I will explain why I have this Nikon 70-300mm f4.5 to 5.6 EVR AF-P lens. I am a painter and for my paintings I need a lot of photos, and I mean a lot. I often need up to 20 photos per painting that inspire me or serve as source material. A good telephoto lens is therefore an essential tool for me. Before I bought the Nikon 70-300, I used the Sigma 100-400mm, a lens that produced beautiful results, especially in the telephoto range. Two things really annoyed me about the Sigma 100-400mm. First, there was the autofocus that was inconsistent, even with the use of the Sigma USB dock and all possible updates. There were just too many mistakes for me with the Sigma lens. And if you mainly photograph animals, you do not have a controlled environment in which you can repeat everything. By the way, a problem that I also had with the 50mm art lens from Sigma. Second, there was the weight. I tried to get out and photograph reasonably lightly. Compared to the Nikon 70-300, the Sigma was quite heavy after walking around all day. That's why I choose the Nikon 70-300. This lens is light, and I mean really light. This lens weighs barely 680 grams and it is also extremely compact, as you see. For comparison, the Sigma 100-400mm weighs 1160 grams. What a difference! You can easily take this zoom lens with you in a compact photo bag because it's only 148mm long. On my Nikon D500 camera, which has a crop sensor, you get an equivalent of 140-450mm. More than enough reach for me to photograph animals in zoos, for example, and wildlife in my own garden and my environment. For a true wildlife photographer, a 200-500mm from Nikon is probably more suitable, but then you are talking about a different budget and a lens of more than 2300 grams. The Nikon 70-300 has also a weather-resistant rubbering for working in a damp or dusty environment. I suspect that the professional lenses are even better weather-resistant, but it is good that this lens already provides some protection. I use this lens on the D500. This lens also performs very well on the full-frame D810 with its 36 megapixel sensor, although you have a little more loss of sharpness in the extreme corners. Although I prefer to work with prime lenses myself, this lens produces sparkling images with sufficient contrast and a beautiful color rendition. It may not be a fair comparison, but how does this lens compare to a prime lens with a fixed focal length? A prime lens is built on a fixed focal length, for example 85mm. A zoom lens like this one should perform very well at any distance. As a result, zoom lenses are often slightly less sharp at the extremes of the range. When we zoom in to 100%, the sharpness in the middle of both lenses is excellent. I really have to zoom in to 300% to see a difference between the zoom lens and the prime lens. Of course, zooming in up to 300% is ridiculous, and you will certainly not notice this difference in real-life scenarios. When we look at the extreme edges of the image at 100%, it is clear that the 85mm is clearly a bit sharper. But you have to realize that the 85mm is even one of the sharpest prime lenses that Nikon has in the f-mount. As you can see, the 70-300 AF-P lens performs exceptionally well even against the notorious 85mm 1.8. Good job here, Nikon. The autofocus is super fast because this is an AF-P lens. It uses phase detection focus, and this pulse technique is a lot faster than the AF-S lenses. In addition, the focus is virtually silent. Sometimes you just doubt whether the lens has focused because this happens so quietly. This zoom lens starts its range at 70mm, so you can also use this lens as a portrait lens. With an aperture of 4.5, there is still a difference from a dedicated portrait lens that often has an aperture of 1.8 or even 1.4. This gives you even more separation of your portrait from the background. But in my opinion, this lens does a really good job as a portrait lens, as you can see here. I also used this photo for the painting Athena. As you can see on this video, the vibration reduction on this lens is very effective. Just keep in mind that slow shutter speeds are not very useful for sports action and wildlife because your subjects are constantly moving. There are two VR modes available: normal, which is what you want to use most of the time, and sport for shooting fast action and panning fast moving subjects. If you have a good hand-holding technique, you can still take a sharp photo at 1/30th of a second at 300mm. This lens gives very good image quality and can compete with a Sigma 100 to 400mm. You can get really nice results with this lens. In addition, this lens is also even faster with an aperture of 4.5 varying to 5.6 compared to 5.6 varying to 6.3 with a Sigma lens. This gives the Nikon an advantage when you photograph in dark conditions. Although the Sigma makes beautiful images, I still opted for the Nikon 70-300 and I have not regretted for a moment. This lens has got a price drop than when it came on the market. That way you can really score a beautiful zoom lens at a very low price. It is without a doubt a great bargain. But do pay attention, this is an AF-P lens and cannot be used with all Nikon bodies, so be sure to find out in advance whether your camera is compatible with this lens. There is also the old AF-S 70-300mm lens. In the range between 200 and 300mm, this old lens performed a lot weaker than this new AF-P lens. This Nikon 70-300mm delivers great performance for a competitive price. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a like, and if you like to see more of this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you again very soon.